Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. It has not been a happy Tuesday for me. I'm in a better mood now, but I've had a very rough day today. I'm Kat, the nurse flipper. If you do not know, I'm joined by my co-host, Sonny, Las Vegas. Below me is a good friend of mine for years, Erin, Rebel Junque, and Catty Corner. I'm happy to have Miss Juli on. It's her first time on. She is Fabric and Treasures. So get your questions in early. I typed it in the chat. I'm going to say it as well to make sure they get answered. And I'm going to make Erin and Juli big. They can tell you where to find them and their main selling avenues right now. So here is Erin.
Hello, my name's Erin. I go by Rebel Junque here on YouTube, although my YouTube channel is not very active. I'm Rebel Junque on Facebook, Instagram. Knickknacks, which is part of District, and eBay are all Rebel Junque. So that's where you can find me and all the fabulous things that I sell.
Perfect. Here's Miss Juli.
Hi, everybody. My name is Juli. Fabric and Treasures on every social platform. I sell on eBay. I sell on Whatnot and District under Knickknacks. I've been selling since the 19... probably 98 when we used to take cash and checks in the mail for eBay.
Yeah, I started on eBay in 99 when my oldest son was born. And yeah, waiting for money orders and all of that fun stuff. I stopped and started and stopped and started, and yeah. All right. So my good friend Elena is not here. I did an ornament show. If you guys don't know, there will be more ornament shows. I bought tons of blown glass ornaments and Hallmark ornaments. So I'm going to be having more ornament shows coming up this week and next week. I'm trying to post little preview reels for you guys if you are interested. And I have a jewelry show. I'm trying to make myself scheduled and I have to do it. But yeah. So Elena sent us a super chat because she's not going to be here. It's her husband's birthday. So I'm going to give her kitty cat because she'll probably watch it back later. So special thanks to Miss Elena. And where's her? Oh, here's her kitty. Here's her kitty.
That is ridiculously cute.
We made that because for 2 or 3 weeks in a row, we had cats walking across in front of the guests. And like all you saw was cats. Was it? Yeah. And I was like, we need a cat super chat. So that is how that came upon.
Yep, absolutely.
This is a question we get a lot. Kathy wants to know, she's trying to decide if she gets an eBay store. She has 300 items and can't do much more. Do you think it's worth it?
So I haven't done the math in a long time, but you have to look at how much you're paying in listing fees versus how much it costs you per month with a store. And also consider that you do get a rebate for shipping supplies with your store at certain levels. So there's a little bit of a formula and some math that you need to do, looking at what you've got and where you're going to go with it.
So for me, I've had an eBay store forever, and right now I only have 167 items on there. And it's still, for me, it is cheaper to have the store than it is to, list individually. Cause I have the, what is it? $21.95. It's cheaper for me to do that because I take into consideration the coupon. I think it's $25, which reminds me, I got to make sure I've used it. And I know I do that often. And then, so for me, it pays to have the store. It really does.
I feel like I'm paying for my own discount, but I really like the discount when it comes to packaging. The supplies, I usually get like I think it was 5, 7 by 6 boxes. I use them regularly, pretty often. But I got rid of my store. I had on average 400 items, and I would sell pretty fast. And even with 400 items for a long period of time, for about 2 years, I was making around $7,000 to $10,000 a month in sales. And then when I got rid of it, I wanted to test some things. I've talked about this before, to see how it would be not having certain things like cross listing and promote bare bones, see how good my items were. And it didn't do very good with cross listing. And I know I'm sidetracking, but this is part of the having a store. I noticed it didn't help push items. It was more up. I had to do a little extra work for the banner, header, a little bit of profile info that you could do. And after a while, when I started getting rid of things after a few years, and this is fast forward to like 3 months ago, when my son came, that I was looking at things and I'm like, I never really seen anybody's header when I shop on eBay, and I'm a big shopper on eBay and on whatnot and all these things, and I don't look at that stuff. I've never catch it. If I do, it's probably by accident because I clicked on something and it led me there. So I don't see a big plus in my opinion. But I was never a big store like Erin talked about. I think the numbers do matter when you get to 1,000 or more, or close to that. And if you are having high value items, I think those numbers benefit you more. But maybe Kat, the big timer over here, will tell you more about it.
Yeah, I think if for me, anytime you're over the 250, it's free because you're paying insertion fees. Plus, you get the benefits with that the lowest one though. You don't get the shipping coupon, so you would have to go like the next. I think it's the second highest where you're getting the shipping coupon.
Yeah,
But and you
21.95.
can do the sales. I think anybody can promote, but you can do sales. I have a sale going on now, and those are really helpful when, if you're trying to move stuff out. I would go ahead and do it, even if you did the lowest one and didn't get the shipping coupon, just to get the benefits of it. Because at 300, you're already paying for insertion fees for 50 of them. And I think it's 30 cents. So I think that's about $15, which is more than you would pay, or it's 50 items. So yeah, it's 15 bucks. So that's more than you would pay for the store. So you'd save money by doing the lower one. And then once you get up closer, then you might want to bump up and get the free shipping supplies. I have the $59.99 a month one for 10,000 items, which I'm having to watch because I'm at 9,000 and I really do not want to go over 10,000. I want to have less items as my goal. My goal is not to have more. But I think I would do it if you're over the 250. 5 Acre Woods, Miss Debbie wants to know, what's your favorite thing to sell and what's your best seller?
My favorite thing to sell is the most valuable things. I mean, the higher the value, the more rewarding it is to pack it up and ship it out. But if I had to pick a category, like I love vintage jewelry, which is super easy to ship, by the way. And then I also love glass, which is a little bit more complicated to ship. My best seller, miniatures, anything miniature. It's and that comes a lot from the live sales. But the other, like lapel pins, of every advertising location, anything you could think of. I had a random pin from it was like 1958, and that's all it said was 1958, and somebody bought it. But it's a little bitty pin you stick in a padded envelope and you're done. So even at I try not to sell anything under $10. So even at $10, even if I sent them, a 15% off offer or something like that, it's to ship a pin. It's super easy. I don't mind that at all. So a little bit of a lot of things.
My favorite thing to sell is fabric because don't have to use any bubble wrap. I don't have to hunt for a box that will fit in. I can fold it up. I double wrap it. So I put it in a plastic bag, and then I put it in my, just a poly bag, and off it goes. So that's what I like to sell the most. It's the easiest, but I love glass. I love the miniatures. And so I tend to pick that up. I just bought 900 yards of fabric.
Wow.
And 4 totes of buttons. And in fact, I was going to try to separate them tonight, but it makes too much noise. Buttons and trim. So those, you don't have to use a lot of bubble wrap, but I do enjoy the smalls, the minis, and the glass. But I have to say I make my most profit on the fabric.
Julie, where do you sell the fabric and buttons and things you just mentioned?
Whatnot,
Wow.
and all 3 platforms, eBay. So I picked in one of the estates that I bought my fabric at. She used to make kimonos, so she had a lot of silk and beautiful fabrics. I sell those on eBay. I don't cut it. I just I sell the whole thing. So if it's high valued, I will put it on eBay. The others I do live sales with.
I'll be sure to follow you, because I to answer the question with why I'm asking her is, in the beginning I was very new to reselling. I just was kind of forced into it by my wife pressuring me to get a job because I couldn't get one, and paying the bills. And of course I was looking for a job. I just couldn't get one. I said that totally wrong. It sounded horrible. So while I was waiting replies back to get a job when we moved from Hawaii to here to Vegas, unable to get replies back or interviews, my wife is the one that brought up reselling. So I went right to a thrift store. I found a Rush Roll, 69 cents I paid for, sold for around 21 bucks after fees. And next thing I knew was apparel. And I just thought cool t-shirt, Nike, so on. And this was a lot easier for apparel with modern and vintage stuff and like $15, $20 stuff back in 2017. It was a gold mine for me, and especially Goodwill filler bags. It was prime time to start off, right? So I started getting into that, not knowing any better. And fast forward a little over 8 years now, well, February, making 9 years. I have been learning that if I have time to look into things, I'm going to look into it. And my big thing now is trying to buy in bulk. Kat brought that up again and again, and will continue to say it. So last week when we were talking on a panel, she talked about bulk items, and I'm like, and auctions, and I'm like, why am I not looking at these things? And the answer to my own question for myself was my comfort zone. So I have been stepping out of my comfort zone. When somebody says they're looking into fabrics or buttons and so on, I am taking a moment to really invest time of seeing what's worth looking at. And sometimes there's just a visual, right, that we all have online and not something that we could touch or feel to understand more about it. But I will be following Julie here very soon to learn about it. And it's been improving for me for everything that I do, from apparel, vintage jewelry, but anything and everything. If the price is right and it makes sense into dollars, I am going to continue investing in myself. And that the big learning curve is just time and being more educated and following people that are, because I won't.
Yeah. I've made friends with the estate sale companies, and they don't like to deal with fabric. They don't know anything about it. You have to measure it out because people want to buy it by the yard. I just go in and say, how much do you want for all of it? And I just buy it all. And I go through and take what I want and then redonate what I don't.
Yeah, and that's kind of my strategy with the online auctions. Like, I'm buying the whole 80-20. Like, a lot of people talk about, like, you buy a lot, you're making 80% of your money from 20% of the items. So I'm trying to pull those items, whereas I used to want to list every single item in the lot now, and I still might, but I will lot up items. I'm not listing it individually, trying to get like every single penny that I can. For me, my favorite thing to sell is like my Native American stuff, my kachinas, Southwest jewelry, like the turquoise, sterling. I'm gonna agree with Erin though. I like the high dollar stuff. I just got. They're on the floor. I'll get them before like after I read the next question. I just got, I believe they're Lotz glass vases that I've outsold comps of the vases for $700, but somebody drilled them and made them into amazing mid-century modern lamps. And I was researching, I could not find a value. I was like, why can't I find these lamps? Well, I couldn't find lamps because they were vases that somebody turned into like amazing lamps. And I think I'm going to put them together and probably ask around $3,000 for them. But they're incredible. I'll show you guys in a minute. So the high dollar stuff, definitely, that is one of my things that I've been doing lately, is concentrating on $50 and higher items. So I did have 25. That's kind of really my low end that I want to hit. but I'm really trying to hit $50 and more because then I'm paying myself more. You know, it's the same amount of items, but I'm making more money. But I was telling everybody backstage, and I'll probably talk about it in one of my videos. I am at a point where I have to stop buying, and it sucks because my sales are up. I'm doing very well. I think with all the platforms, we're at over 30,000 this month. And I'm getting good at it. But the problem is I get the FOMO and I don't want to miss out on those high dollar items. But I have so many high dollar items not listed sitting here that I need to just stop until at least like half of it gets listed, you know, because some of the auctions might take a couple of weeks to get to me. So I'm going to try and wait till about half of it. And it's hard. Like my favorite auction is going right now and I've not looked and I'm not going to, but it's very, very hard for me because I know, and I've been pickier over the last month. So I haven't bought as much. I spent as much, but I didn't get as many items. Like it was more higher value. But yeah, so if I had to pick a category, I would say jewelry, but I had to pick like a genre, I would say my Native American stuff with my kachinas. My shelf was restocked. I wonder if I can turn you guys. Look, my shelf is restocked.
Wow.
And so I have it there where I don't know if I'm going to be able to get my camera back right. What happened? Now you see my desk. Okay, thing. Hold on. Let me hide myself and just talk and fix this. So my desk is now full again, and I have 2 more boxes of kachinas, and I'm thinking about putting them in the house because I did my fireplace room in Southwest. But here's the problem, and I think I'm a little crooked, but not bad. I put it all on the mantle, and during Christmas I take all that down and put Christmas stuff on the mantle. So I just filled it up with all this pottery, and now I'm having to take all the pottery down and make room for Christmas. But yeah, so I think that would be mine. All right, we got a super chat from Farmville Pickers for $2. I don't know how to take and how to answer this question. Maybe the guest or Sonny will have a better idea. Farmville Pickers asking strategies to move items that isn't selling. Oh, move items that aren't selling. Oh, I got it. I'm slow tonight. Sorry. How do you move items that aren't selling? I thought they meant like by not selling them. I was like, wait.
So, you know, I mean, Kat mentioned earlier, like lotting things together. So if you have a lot of similar items that aren't selling individually, you can put them together in a lot. Live sales tend to move items in bulk, especially if you have a lot of the same similar item, like Kat did tonight on her Whatnot ornament sale. You know, if you want to put it on sale, I mean, anything you could do to grab attention, you know, mark the price down. Because eBay, you know, if you mark the price down, it shows that deduction, or it sends messages to people that are watching it that the price has been lowered. And the reason I know that, this was a fun one today. So I have this pair of shorts that I've been watching, and they're just a little bit out of my price range for like a little pair of running shorts. And I got a notification earlier today that the price had been lowered to $27, down from like $37. And I thought about it, but I didn't buy them right away. And then a little bit later, I got a message with an offer for 5% off of the original $37 price. And I thought, you know, I think maybe do I write to them and say, hey, can I have that $27? I don't know. But anyhow, marking things out on sale, sending offers, depending on which platforms you're on. And if you do, you know, live sales where you can move a lot of the same things, that would be my go-to strategy.
Well, actually, I just did that this past week. I bought an estate sale of fabric for a very good price. I have more than quadrupled my money on it. And so some of the fabric and some of the trims and things, I've shown them as several shows on both District and on Whatnot, and they haven't sold. So I started them all at $1, in my Whatnot show yesterday, and I sold all but 3 or 4 of them. And those I'm going to donate to my grandkids' school, and they can use them for their arts and crafts, and I'm done. So that's what I do with my fabric. For my other items that I have tried to sell on District, or what, like my glass and things that you can't start at $1, I've started putting vignettes together and selling them on eBay. So I'll put a frame together, I'll put a doily together, I'll put a vase together, all in the same colors, and list it on eBay. And I got that from a train that we just did on District this past weekend. And so that's what I have been doing just the last couple of days, is putting vignettes together and putting them on eBay.
I got to ask another question, Julie. What's a vignette?
Oh, a vignette. You put, so you got, it's anything that is 2 or more items that go together. So you can put a frame, you can put a vase. Say you want to do Christmas, I would put like a milk glass vase and maybe a deer that's white, and then put one of the Joseph original dolls that is a December birthday, little girl, and then sell all that together as one package.
So it typically applies to decor.
Yeah.
Do you put vignette in the title?
Yes.
Okay.
See, it got me really excited because I thought beignets. I was like, oh my goodness, that sounds good right now.
No, now Julie has to spell vignette for us.
Yeah, I was like, beignets, like I'll buy some. I've been craving some.
And I just, like I said, I got that from an idea from something that we just did this past weekend. I thought that is a really good way to
That is a good idea.
put stuff together and get rid of it. Yep.
I don't know where everybody's from, but over here in Vegas, there's so many opportunities. Once things start opening up more for me in time, and we get our son, which is good news. I'll tell you real quick. My son will have his last surgery December 30th. So January, we expect him home. He's doing really good. And when he gets a little bigger, which no rush, we want him to be a baby as long as possible, so I can hold him and squeeze him and kiss him. But what I want to do is start getting into storage units and sell things there when I get the chance. And I don't have to spend all day there. Some people spend a few hours, and some people don't have that in their area to do that. But maybe you could start something yourself. Start something small, get with companies that have a nice parking lot. And I'm saying this because we've done it here in Vegas. I've been to these pop-up shops where they have coffee places because you drive customers with them. So you could create something for yourself and something for the community. And if you're not wanting that and don't have the time to, you could do it on Facebook Marketplace, do some bulk sales, maybe run the prices down. But one of my friends who was on here just the other day, I'll talk about him, Sid. Sid Nation was over here with us on the panel. And he was talking to me the other day, saying that he has so much stuff, he's getting tired of looking at it, and he was going to donate it. And I said, well, if you're already on Whatnot, why would you just give it away if you know it's money? Put it at your bottom dollar, do what you can the first run, and after that, then donate it, but don't just throw money away because you're tired of it. We all have those problems where we can't keep up with our purchases at times. Well, I will say not everybody does, but I do. Trying to keep up with how much inventory you get because the price is just too good to pass up on. So different options. Don't always think online, think in person, or think of friends. I think somebody mentioned in the chat, which I have done before, reach out to friends that are interested in these things, or just put it on your Facebook. I have all these items who would like to buy it in bulk, or maybe set some days that work to your schedule and theirs, for people that and you trust, not just complete strangers. So there's different options. Just think simple and think of your time and have it set that information in your post if you're going to do that online.
Yeah. So for me, and I've said it since I'm doing it, I have been running 60% off sales on items I've had over a year just to get rid of them. And honestly, I might even look through ones that are even older, do like 70, because at this point they've been here so long. I'd rather get whatever I can get. And rather than like re-donating them, I'll have some type of income from them and somebody gets a great deal. That the bundling, and I would say look at your listings too. We actually the store reviews for membership are Thursday, because you might have stuff priced too high, your pictures might not be good, your titles might not be good. it might not necessarily be the inventory. It might be other, technical aspects of it, whether, again, pictures, titles, prices. A lot of the stores that I've looked at, like, prices are sometimes double and triple what the market average is. And if your prices are like that, then it's not going to sell. And a lot of mine that have been here a while were ones I couldn't find comps on. So I probably guessed or priced it too high. So now that I'm throwing that 60% off, it's selling, and I'm still making a profit on probably 90% of it, and getting it gone. Whatnot is another option. I personally do not like bringing old inventory that hasn't sold to Whatnot. I like to buy specifically for Whatnot and bring those items there. The only exception, we might do the license plates, and just do yes, Erin is crocheting. We might bring the license plates, and I'll just run them at my cost, which was $2, just to get rid of them, because I've had them for 2.5 years now, and people get deals because some of them are worth 30, 40, 50 bucks. And yeah, change your photos, check your titles, make sure you have good keywords. There's just, without seeing, there's no way to know. Like, there might be a simple reason why it's not selling. You might have good stuff, but bad pictures or bad titles or bad prices. It could be any of that. It's so hard to say,
changes.
Or nobody wants it.
Yeah,
the market does
changes. I mean, fairy lamps were going for 6 times what they should have been going for a year ago, and now, fairy lamps have. So it circles. And I also found something on eBay today. My pictures were not showing up, and there was a warning. Now, when I listed it, it was fine, but there was a little warning. So maybe double check to make sure your pictures are showing up. I've never had that happen before, but it could be a lot of things.
Yeah, it's so hard to really know. But I mean, those are different things you can try. But I would check those basic things first before, because like, I would hate you to put stuff on sale when like better keywords or title would sell it at the price you have it. And some of mine have been that, like, I've forgotten to put shirt. I've forgotten to put the size. I've forgotten to put the color. Like, it happens to all of us. And they're just, for me, the sale is the way that I'm going. That's been my biggest thing. All right, let's do, what do we want to do? What do we want? I'm going to do Dalton on the beach. He was really little. He's like half his size now. Here you go. Dun, 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 dun. All right. So let's see. Susie said a $4.99 super chat and said, "Great to see my fellow seller friends on here," and said, "You all look fabulous." Thank you, thank you. I think with the fabulous
Susie.
comment, I got to do Sonny's hair. Here you go.
It's
That's
so
the best.
cheesy.
I don't know if I could. I probably could.
I'm not even
figure it
try.
out. Okay. Revive by Design, and I'll grab her super chat after, but this is her question. She said she was trying, and she did right after she got it. She said she's new to Mercari, and it's setting outrageous charges for buyer paid shipping, £2, 18 by 12 by 8, $17.99, and eBay $7. So if you sell on Mercari, do you have any tips? If you don't, just pass it.
So I don't sell on Mercari, but I used to, and their shipping has never been quite on the same level playing field that eBay puts it for us. So making sure that you're putting in as close to accurate as possible, and making sure that you've chosen the right option for shipping. Make sure it's on USPS ground. And sometimes it's cheaper to do UPS. That's the best I have for my experience on Mercari. But yes, I do. Somebody asked if I was crocheting, and I'm fidgety, so yes.
And I don't sell on Mercari, and I haven't. So
No Mercari for me.
So on Mercari, and I've been selling on Mercari. I actually just got a $40 sale on Mercari. It's picked up a little bit. Yes. So Backroads Flipper just said exactly what I was going to say.
No.
Mercari prefers UPS. So the only time I use USPS ground is for 1 pound or less. That is the only time it is advantageous. The 2 pound rate for UPS ground is cheaper than it is for eBay's 2 pound rate for USPS. It's like $7.99. And my 2 pound rate goes up to like $20 for California on eBay. So for me, Mercari's UPS is cheaper. It's a little bit slower than Ground Advantage, but so basically for me, 1 pound and under on Mercari goes USPS Ground Advantage. Anything over a pound goes UPS. Farmville's saying they use FedEx. Sometimes FedEx is cheaper, and their big stuff like the oversized, it does their shipping is way better than what somebody would pay on eBay. Like theirs is like $45. I think the highest I've seen theirs is $200, but the $45 on Mercari would be like $150 on eBay for my buyer to buy. So they would be better to buy it from me on Mercari. And you can also, like Susie's saying, you can do either free shipping or ship on your own. You don't have to do free shipping to ship on your own. You can charge for shipping, and then, or maybe you do have to add it and then ship on your own. I'm not sure, because I use their labels because I find their UPS labels are cheaper than what I'd pay for Ground Advantage, even through Pirate Ship. Okay, let me grab. So here's her super chat that went with her question. Let's see, what are we gonna do? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Can we get Kevin out the way?
Yeah, we'll do Kevin. Here you go. I just got the weirdest message on eBay.
Oh, no.
So I have vintage condoms. And somebody, I'm not going to say who it is, from a movie set said they've been looking for condom boxes for their movie set. And they want to know if I know what year they are. I don't think I do. I'm going to have to look. But so they're like, I know that's a lot to add. Like they gave me like all their background information. And yeah, so maybe my
I'm glad that's a decent question. I was worried about what your question was going to be. Or their question.
It's about, they want to know what year. We'll see if I can research more on the condom.
It should have a date on it.
I got to look. I'll look at my pictures closer. All right. Miss Linda wants to know, was there one item you sold when you first started on eBay that excited you to keep selling? Like one thing that like kicked it off or made you want to do it more?
I think one of the first things I sold on eBay was some pottery dishes that broke on the way there. So I learned a lot from that. I still pick up pottery and I still ship it, and it doesn't break now. But I just remember that excitement of selling things. There was something that sold for like $20, and I can't remember what it is now, but I was just absolutely amazed, which is kind of funny now. But yeah, I mean, that the pottery was, for some reason, I was really attracted to selling that to start with, which is odd. I had tried clothes and failed miserably, and I don't like doing laundry. I don't like folding. I don't like measuring. So all of that in the clothing efforts, even though it was easier to ship, I would rather buy something pretty and well made, I guess. So yeah, I would say the pottery.
It has been so long since I started selling on eBay. I don't remember what the first thing was that I sold, but the reason I started on eBay was just getting, my kids had extracurricular activities that needed to be paid for. It's not cheap to play golf. It's not cheap to be on the water polo team. It's not cheap for 4-H. So but I can't remember what my first first thing was that I sold. I'm sure it was something around the house or my kids, clothes that they outgrew or something like that. Now, my favorite thing to sell on eBay is I look for unusual and weird looking purses. And I have one in my store right now that I bought at a garage sale for $5 and it was an estate sale, and got home, and it's worth about $325, and they didn't know it. But I always look for the unusual and the weird. Weird sells. It does.
I would like to add, though, too, part of what got me started selling was I was volunteering with a group that does a big garage sale here in our town as a fundraiser every year. And in 2020, we got shut down halfway through the setup of that sale. And so that is a big part of their income, and they're helping with expenses that aren't covered by most government agencies. So things like gasoline, you got a new job, you need steel toe boots, you need to get your driver's license. You need to cover your prescription for 1 month that just to get by, things like that. And so when that got shut down, I started taking things home and listing for them. And then I thought, oh, well, I could do this for myself too. So that some of the excitement came from being able to help others by what I was doing, and then also doing it for myself in the end. But I still sell for them too. So we only pull like certain higher end items out of the garage sale. Like I have like a $1,200 Weller pottery lamp. Oddly enough, Kat, I have a pottery lamp like that. And then just a bronze statue that we really just weren't going to get that value or even half the value at the garage sale. So we do pull a few things out like that for me to list, but that's so easy, and it's nice to have some of those items in my store. It draws attention.
After that Russ vintage troll that I sold, I took that $19 or $21 that I made, and I went to the nearest Goodwill, and I was looking at everything, had no idea what I was looking at. I felt uncomfortable then, because I was by myself. My wife wasn't there to hold my hand like she's always there for. She's an amazing person. I love her to death. She scares me, but I love her. So I went to the nearest Goodwill, and after about to leave the door, this very cool young man with long, amazing hair, longer than what I probably have now, says, how was your visit here? And I was like, it was good. I just don't know what I'm looking for. And he was like, have you seen this stuff in the counter? And I didn't look at the counter. It's one of those things like when you're a kid, don't look at it because you're gonna have to buy it, So I just was open to him. He greeted me, and I said, I'll take a look, and I just thought it was expensive. So he pulled out one of them. It was a little trinket of Estee Lauder. I remember the back of the name, and I thought, wow, isn't this like a purse thing or makeup? That's how much I knew of it. And I looked at the price, and he was like, I have more. So he took out another one and another one and another one and another, and it kept going. And I said, oh man, these are pretty pricey. All I have is the 19 to 21 bucks, So he said, well, it just so happens all of these accumulate to $19 and we don't do tax. This guy hooked me up when he didn't need to. And right there and then I took it. I always pay things forward. The first one sold within 5 minutes for $175, another one for $300 and something. And I made over $1,000 in less than 2 days off of that. And I don't think what makes me excited about finding these things, I think what excites me more is the potential that it does for me and the freedom that it gives me to sell things and makes my life a little bit easier. And it's up to me to find out more information and again, be educated about more and more stuff. And I think that's why I love thrifting now. My answer, if somebody was asking me, what gets me excited, I think is the opportunities we make for ourselves and for others by simply shopping for others in a way.
Yeah, and a lot of you might know I started out selling plants on eBay back in 1999. I had my oldest son. I was staying at home with him, and my whole life I've had 2 jobs. I have to do something. Like what you see now is how I've been since I was a teenager. And So there was a plant nursery like right next to where we lived, and they had these really cool antique roses, and they were like 50 cents for cutting, like for small little starter plants. And so I don't even know where I got the idea about eBay. It was in the 90s. Looked it up, and they were selling for $9.99 each, and I could get them for 50 cents. And what I liked the most was that I could sell them and then I could go buy them, because the man had hundreds and hundreds of them. Like, he wasn't running out. So I listed them, and that was back in the day when you could promote. It wasn't called promote back then. You could feature your item in the category. So like my roses would come up at the top of the plant category. And so I would list like 50 for $10 each. And they just kept selling and selling and selling. And I eventually down the road owned my own plant nursery and also did multiples of plants. So plants was probably the first thing. I mean, anything like, and in the 90s to turn 50 cents into $10, that's 20 times what I paid. And the fees weren't ridiculous like they are now. So I think any like profit now, like I like the hidden stuff. And I actually, last week I way overbid, and I do that occasionally. Not a lot. I'm pretty good about like, this is what I'm paying. But there was a jewelry box, and it did have sterling, and it was a ton of pieces. And I'm like, I'm stopping at $350. And then I'm like, I'm stopping at $400. And then I'm like, I'm stopping at $450. And it's not a ton of jewelry, but there were marked Native American pieces in there. And so I'm hoping, and that's a kind of a calculated gamble, right? Like, I mean, I saw Native American pieces. There definitely is sterling in there. I don't know. I'm thinking about doing a video, like almost like an unboxing with that, because I paid $450 for just the jewelry box and the jewelry. And so for me, and I'm a gambler. And so I'm lucky I don't live where Sonny lives, or I would probably be in trouble.
My eyebrow just went up when you said that. I was like, oh.
I've done good the 2 times I went to Vegas and put in money the first day we got there, and I've never added money. Like, we've gambled off of what we put in initially the whole week we were there both times. I may or may not have made, it's not a mistake as of now. Hopefully it doesn't turn into one. I just started doing sports betting on football, and I'm up like $140 after the first week. I'm doing little bets. I'm doing like $5, and my boyfriend's like, do 25. I'm like, no, I'm doing $5. Like, leave me alone. Let me like slowly grow my little bankroll on the sports betting. But yeah, I think that's a big thing for me, is I like gambling. I like taking chances, and that's why I love the big lots. But when I do stuff like that, I will count the pieces and be like, okay, there are 100 pieces here. I'm paying $200. I'm $2 into each. If I can't get $2 each for these items, something's wrong. And what I'm banking on is that I'll find 2, maybe 3 pieces that are worth $100, $150. And most times I do. And that is just my business model. Now, though, the big thing, and we were talking about this, I think it was backstage, is not wanting to get every single dollar out of every lot. So I'm lotting stuff up, letting stuff go cheap. Even like I'm not pushing for those $15 items. And I don't know. Let me see if I started this. Somebody commented, where did she go? She commented that, oh, here it is. Sari said, if I can't make $100 or more off an item, I'm not messing with it. And I think an important point to make is that like each of us has to decide what our limit is and, what that minimum. And if she has limited time or whatever reason, it doesn't matter what reason, we can all, like, you could say, if I don't make $500, I'm not going to touch it, and be ultra picky. You can do whatever you want with reselling and decide, how you want to do it. And with those higher dollar items, you're going to buy less, but it's going to take you longer to find them typically. So that time might equal out, but I used to be thrilled to do $1 into 10 all day long. And, you know, for me though, I've grown, and hopefully all of us will grow and move it up, whether it's bundling more, like we're learning more. You should be making more money somehow, like whether it's more volume or just more knowledge. And that, like, whatever you choose, if you're happy with $5, I'm happy for you. You know, that's your choice. If that makes you happy, then do it, you know? And I just wanted to put that up because of the fact that it's individualized. And like somebody commented, I posted how many items are going out. Oh, way to make us all feel like crap. I'm not trying to make anybody, like somebody else would be like, I don't want to ship that many. Like, you know, like Juli shipping all day today. Like some people don't want to sell 100 items in 2 hours. They're like, have you lost your mind? Because you don't think about that back end. No, you're fine. The back end of, okay, now I just sold 58 ornaments, and now they're glass ornaments that are going to have to all be back tomorrow. You know, so that's time that goes into it too. But yeah, so I love reselling, period. I will talk to anybody about it at any time, on and on and on, because it's like, it's the thrill. Like anything, you find it and you can make a good profit. Like, I don't care what it is. Erin, were you in there? I had a toilet paper glass ornament, and I was like, this is the toilet. And it was from 2020. So it was a COVID thing. And I'm
Nobody
like,
even asked for
I've never seen a glass
I'm running this.
toilet paper roll, a glass toilet paper roll. Like, you know, it's cool though. And it sold good. So yeah. I responded to you in the chat. I wanted to throw this up. And guys, if your payments fail and whatnot, at least with me, message me, tell me what the item sold for. I'll throw it up on Buy It Now for you. I know Whatnot's payment system can be a pain in the butt. So yeah, you can still get it. Just message me and I'll put it Buy It Now. All right. I think I think this is this Brinny? I saw Brinny. Yes, it is Brinny.
Yeah.
So Brinny said she's a Whatnot seller, but she's recovering from knee replacement. She's lost her confidence. She wants to try again, even though she's scared. So any suggestions about her shows to get back in there? Here's a second. So any suggestions for her to kind of get back into the groove?
I mean, if you have your favorite thing that you like to sell and you know that you have a following for it, I would say put your best foot forward. If you have a train or a buddy, somebody that you can, I don't know, can you co-sell on Whatnot still or yet? Or
I don't think so.
No. But like if you join a train, you know, you could do it that way. You could join us on Knickknacks. We have co-selling abilities over there. So yeah, just, you know, make yourself feel good, you know, present yourself the way that you want to look your best, I guess, feel your best, however that is, and then bring your favorite things. I would, you know, psych yourself up, tell a friend you need a little bit of prep talk, call Kat.
So I hope your knee replacement's going well. I just had the same thing in February. So, but you can do it because I was back doing my live sales within 6 weeks after my knee surgery. So what I did was I just made sure that I did short shows. I didn't stand very long because you're going to get discouraged because it's going to start hurting. And you have to remember, you have to ship everything. If you're a one person show, you have to ship everything. So sometimes that's standing as well. So what I did is I went on a train, and it was a 30-minute spot, and that got my confidence back up. And I was still selling on eBay. I was still packing. I was still doing all of that stuff, but going live, I did, because I was on, you know, medication. I didn't want to say something I shouldn't have said during a live sale. So I did a train on Whatnot first. I went into the icons, and most of the time on their thumbnails, you can see who's running the trains. I just reach out to someone. And if you
How did they find that?
How did they find that?
On the train information.
On the thumbnails, it has who hosts them. And just contact one of the sellers that's hosting. So like on all the trains that I have been on the thumbnail that they create that everybody uses, usually at the bottom, it has who's hosting it, and then just reach out to whomever's hosting the trains and see if there's any spots that are open.
We had Chad and Esteban come join us on the panel last week, and Chad is one who goes by I Can Hustle All Day. He does it with Bearded Thrifter on Whatnot. They do one every Thursday, and I think they have it for 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes, and they encourage people to reach out to them and tell them about it. And I think right now they're probably about a month out, but they're not the only ones. My friend Carrie, the Desert Mermaid, she is part of a group that does that as well. I forget their names, but they're very active on it, very supportive. They're at their own private chat on Facebook, and I'm sure on Discord and all these other things. But there are groups out there that are seeking for people who need a little bit of support. Now, they're all different in their own way, but I think as you being vulnerable enough to say that what you're going through and lost confidence, I don't think you lost confidence. I think you're just out of your comfort zone once again because of the knee. And I hope your recovery goes very, very smooth. I have back problems, arthritis and sciatica and all this stuff. And my goal is not to get caught up in my own emotions of, oh man, I got to show, like, for instance, tonight, I get in my nerves. I get very anxious and I get like, oh man, I'm going to TMI maybe, but I'm like, do I got to go poop? Like, I don't know. I get too much butterflies in my stomach when I have a show or even go live here. And I think it's just the nerves. And I think that's a good thing to be excited about. You're going to do great regardless, but do message me on Whatnot and I'll make sure to give you a follow. And on my Whatnot shows, I do ask people at times, like, is there anybody on Whatnot who has a show coming up or plan on to, put a question marks here, comment highlights. And I encourage people to follow each other. And sometimes it's the best thing because they may know somebody who's looking for exactly what you're looking for. So tagging, but I do recommend also Whatnot is not the only place. And I would say with the co-host and co-sell, to do what Erin said, jump on Knickknacks is also a great platform. It's mostly vintage, but now there's handmade items. Jocelyn, what's today? Tuesday, I think yesterday or this morning. She does these coffee talks and she gives updates of what she's planning for Knickknacks. Very inspiring to talk to the head of, her own platform and bring people along, just like we're trying to do here with Kat and her hard work to bring people along and encourage them to move forward, even if it's baby steps, because after a year or so, which sounds like a long time, it's not, because you're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to fly by. And just reach out to one of us. If there's any specific questions about Whatnot or Knickknacks, you can reach out to Erin, Kat, or myself with Whatnot. I'm not on eBay anymore, but I do like Knickknacks and Whatnot a lot.
Yeah, and I was off of there myself for a while, and have just come back because Shannon was selling for me on there, so I had an employee. And I think you were doing jewelry, right, Brenny? I think she was doing jewelry. So that's something that I think you could probably sell and ship sitting as long as you have your supplies there because it's small. So hopefully that'll help as far as recovery. I had knee surgery 20 years ago, and I'm going to end up having to have it at some point. I'm just putting it off as long as I can. It's hard, and Whatnot has changed a lot over the years. Like for me, I used to have like 60 to 100 people. Now I had 30 earlier and I'm happy with 30, even with my following. I think with depending on your following and what inventory you have, if it's hot inventory that's really good, it'll pull the people regardless. And I would catalog so that people could search and find it. And if it's not, I think about Knickknacks because I think you'll get more people in a Knickknack show than you will in a Whatnot. Whatnot is definitely saturated. But I was worried about that on Black Friday and did excellent on Black Friday and sold a bunch. And I was like, there's going to be so many people, nobody's going to come. And it wasn't the case. And just do it. Just like restarting is just like starting. You got to just do it, and get back into it. And then I think I bet after one you're going to be like, okay, I'm fine. Like, because the platform itself hasn't changed, but I feel like kind of like the ambiance around it has. I need to start doing some more knickknacks, honestly, is what I need to do, and take my own advice, because I think I would get more people on. Knickknacks is I'll spell it for you. It's NIKNAX. That's by Jocelyn Crazy Lamp Lady. It's on District. You do have to apply to sell there, but they do have the co-selling, which is nice. Sam Jolie Flips has been driving me nuts. She wants me to do a co-sell with her, but I never know when I can go live is my problem. So me scheduling something is hard. They have an app. It functions better on iPhone. I will say that.
Yes.
It has bare bones on Android. It is there, but it is bare bones on Android. So yeah, hopefully that helps. But I think the big thing is just getting out there again and doing it.
Kat,
right.
do you have your knickknacks affiliate?
I'm sure somewhere I could get it.
All right. Yeah, Kat has an affiliate right now. What I will say to tackle on, what I will say to tackle on more about whatnot and knickknacks auctions is that there is a big difference when you're doing it. I feel like on knickknacks, the customers that I have, like the best shows on knickknacks for me, or when I took the time to take photos of everything. On whatnot, I feel like I personally do not need to do that, but everybody's different, and I just know these little differences between both of them. And you could also we talked about raid trains, where you could follow these raid trains, or you could just get with a group of friends that you know that are on whatnot and say, hey, you want to do this, and create your own and be consistent and maybe keep running it and just switch to order from each other so it's fair across the board from beginning to end. But I'll be honest, when it comes to raid trains that I'm invited to and a part of, I love being the back, like the very end, because I have no time and I could sell more and not be within like a 20,
right,
30
like you're not in that tiny spot.
and those are the best. I
That's
will tell
the
you
prime position that everybody wants. Yep.
Yeah, I love that. But yeah, just set it out on time. Tell people about it. Don't just do it like right now and expect the best. Like, be reasonable within yourself and your time to do it like maybe a week out or a few days out and promote yourself on social media. I have a whatnot show tonight, which I will tell you I didn't promote other than one time when I was live. I just said like my last show was like I may do it tomorrow, and then that was it. I got 11 people to follow, but often to tackle with or segue with what Kat said, like she used to have 100 and something people, and now she has like 30, 40, and 60. I see more numbers. She's just probably busy looking at the items.
But
like,
that one I put up 2 days in advance, or a day. Like, I think the longer out you can, schedule it, it's definitely going to give people time to do it. And that's been my problem, that I haven't been able to do that. Like do a video, because Whatnot will let you do like the video preview of the show. That I think
that's what I do with my fabric. I don't list everything. I just do a video so they can go in and see it.
Yeah. And then I asked, like I said, hey, if you saw my reel on Instagram, if there was a certain ornament you wanted, tell me. Nobody did, but they have, somebody might see it and be like, I want this, and if that's the case, I would run that first. Listen here, Gino.
Hi, Gino.
He finally has showed up. Power Corrupt says, when someone chooses USPS Ground Advantage, I'll ship FedEx Economy to save money. Do you? So do you ever switch?
I avoid FedEx shipping at all costs because it's difficult to drop off a FedEx shipment here. I haven't found any place that picks up in, within 24 hours. Like if I drop it off at Walgreens, it's not getting picked up for maybe 48 hours, which I didn't think was possible, but maybe they're not scanning it in right away. But anyhow, I don't ship FedEx unless somebody specifically asks me to ship FedEx.
Same, unless they ask for FedEx. Now, I do know that there are some areas that do not have mail boxes. if you live in a rural community, they don't have mailboxes, and so FedEx will deliver to them. That's the only time I will use FedEx. I use UPS or USPS all the time.
Well, and the other thing to take into consideration too is the timing that they're saying that your product is going to get delivered the same. So like if they paid for Ground Advantage, they're paying for a certain time frame. Is FedEx Economy getting it to them within that time frame also? So I don't know what the shipping time is like with FedEx Economy, so that's something to consider too.
Yeah.
Yeah, on eBay, I would have where I would set as FedEx, but then the customer would choose something else, and I'm like, I know for a fact this particular item was not on the one they chose, right? So I look at what Erin said. I look at the cost. Is it going to cost me more with their change? And if it maybe you could, especially on eBay or on these platforms, you could private message them and say, hey, I had it set to this, but it's better this way. Is that okay? And usually they answer pretty fast, but if not, they did select it. And if they have issues and it's within the cost portion of shipping and nothing else changes, then by all means, I'll just let them.
Yeah, so for me, the only time I change it is if the USPS Ground Advantage is outrageous. So that's my bigger items. Like my smaller 1 and 2 pounds, I'm not looking because I charge calculated shipping. They paid for it. Like we'll ship out 40 to 50 on a Monday. I'm not going to look at each one of those to see which one's cheaper. But if I know, like if we had something last week, shipping was like 120. I was way under on my estimate. Shipping was like $120 Ground Advantage, and it was like 25 on FedEx. I still lost money, mind you. I still lost money, but I switched it in that case. So the only thing for me is if it's like super expensive, and then I'll do it because it's cheaper. But not like we do too much to like price compare every time. Miss Constant says, I just listed a gorgeous brown velvet scarf today, not one view yet. Do any of you have a secret formula for your main photo with scarves? And I would ask, if you're still here, is it a square scarf? Is it a rectangle scarf? Like what shape of scarf is it?
And velvet can be difficult to photograph well. So I would say if you have somebody that would, or if you have a, what are those, the bodies that you,
The mannequin.
Mannequins.
yeah, like if you have a mannequin, to put it on, you know, that might show it off better. You know, laying a scarf flat doesn't always show, you know, how nicely it would look if you had it on. So I don't sell a lot of clothes, so I like purposely avoid clothes, but I do pick up some accessories like that. I tend to like put them in a circle, like in a pile, I guess. I don't know if that's the best, but.
So velvet is like Erin said, it's very hard to photograph because you get a bounce back from it because velvet is shiny. If you could take it outside, if you can take the photo outside, it might be better. You won't get the bounce back from your lights. I would suggest if putting it on a mannequin, if you have it. If you don't have the mannequin, then try to take it outside. Try to take it not at noon. Take it early in the morning when it's kind of overcast. You won't get all of, you know, the bounce back off of it. Or ask a friend to come over and put it on while you take the photo. Their face doesn't have to be in it. You can put a flower or something over their face if they don't want their face in it, but maybe have someone just wear it and take the photo that way.
But what if you don't have any friends?
If you don't have any friends,
Call Sonny.
Yeah,
there you go.
automatic friend. And I asked that because what if you have friends but they're not able to come over, right?
Right.
I've done this many of times. I will take a photo of something, right? I'll go into my Instagram, into the story. I'll put that photo in there and I'll place an emoji on the face. And then I'll take a screenshot of that and use that photo for my listing. So that way I still have the model, which is myself. And I pro bono for myself And it's a super easy thing to do. It doesn't matter about emoji or something over the face. The whole point is the scarf. But what I like for things like scarves and apparel that has a nice unique pattern, I call it the money shot, where it's a close up, and then the second photo would be more of like how it would look draped on myself or an item, or even laid out in front and back. So I usually do it that way. The first, the close up money shot, and then the second photo, full view of how it looks, and then just it laid out on the floor. Pretty easy.
We use a mannequin. I think it was only like 40 or 50 bucks on Amazon. And for the long rectangular scarves, that has been the best, where you like flip one side back, like somebody would wear it. That's how it's photographed best for us. They had good points as far as the velvet. So you could take your mannequin outside and get that natural light.
I didn't know if she had a mannequin, but I do have a mannequin.
You can get the like half mannequins fairly reasonable on Amazon. And then for square ones though, if it's got a print, I'm laying it out because I want to show like what that print is. But if it's a solid square one, I would also put that on the mannequin as well. And I think how you would, wear it is the best way to display it. If you can, like Sonny said, you could do it on a person and yourself, or find somebody, because scarves are just funky, and a lot of pictures look funny of them, but I found the mannequin is definitely the best.
Yeah, and I have some listed right now that are just flat in my eBay store. It's because they have a really great graphic on them, and I want that to be the first picture. So
yeah, that's how with my square ones that have amazing, that's what I'm doing. But like Sonny said, if it's a continuous pattern, I might do that close up, like Sonny was saying, if it's a continuous pattern, and show that as my main one, so they can really see the actual pattern if it's repetitive. But if it's a graphic, I want to show them the whole graphic. All right, Miss Patty says she just refunded an order on Etsy for a package the post office didn't scan in. She obtained a letter from the postmaster stating they lost it, now the customer is saying her neighbor had it in their mail, so it has been found. Package has been found, but the customer is asking her how to pay her back for it. So how would you have that customer pay you back for the package that got it after they had, been refunded for it being lost?
I mean, you have to be careful with your messaging, especially if you're going through a system on like Etsy or eBay, because they don't want to see you sharing payment options outside of their platform. It may be something they have to reach out to Etsy to ask what's the best way to do. But if you can communicate to them, hey, this is where I accept payments. I mean, I don't know. That's a very awkward situation, but you might enlist Etsy to help you. I guess it just depends on how much time and effort you really want to put into it.
What
they
I
got
would
your
do,
address, they can send you some mail.
Yeah. What I would do is do a private listing.
Then you still have to ship something.
Yeah. Or do free shipping.
Oh yeah.
Do free shipping. It doesn't cost you anything.
You'd have to send them like a sticker or something.
Yeah. I would just create a private listing. You can do that on District. You can do that on any of the platforms. Just put free shipping. Put it to the 1 ounce or 2 ounce, whatever the cheapest is, and tell them you're going to add, ask them if it's okay to add the extra shipping in to the price, because, the neighbor had it, the neighbor held onto it, and then just create the private listing as what I would suggest, because you don't want to go off platform, because that might get your account red flagged, and I wouldn't do that. So I would just do the private listing and work it out with the customer.
I'm assuming the postmaster unfortunately said, too bad, so sad, we messed it up, and not take care of it on their end, because then that's what eBay is going to want to see, is what did the post office do, which the answer is they ruined it or lost it. So I would message eBay of what happened.
Etsy.
or
It's on
Etsy.
Etsy.
I would message them to say this is what the post office said, but they're probably gonna want confirmation because nobody takes your word for nothing anymore. And see how you could go through the insurance with that. So it may or may not happen that way. Nothing ever happens like it should. It's always the difficult nonsense stuff that works out. But what I've seen at the post office, specifically USPS, myself when I worked there, and this was years ago, so times have changed, is that I've seen people bring in stuff. Look, this was damaged. This person's messaging photos, the proof that it was, complete, undamaged. And I've seen postmasters cut them a check and also pay them in cash, giving them a receipt that they were given this item, and they will take the information of the tracking to report it that it was taken care of, so that way somebody wouldn't try to say double dip. So I would go back to the postmaster and may do that, or go to Etsy and see what you could do on either or. But I feel like you're gonna get the seesaw of go here, go there, which you're gonna have to talk to one of them.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, I know eBay will allow you to give them your PayPal email if that happens. I have had it happen on eBay, and eBay advised me to give them my PayPal email and allow them to pay me via PayPal. I do not know if Etsy does that. I haven't had that situation with Etsy. So, I mean, for me, I would almost like they were saying, like, mail them a sticker, be like, put, a picture of the item, even put in the notes, buyer received after refunded. So making this listing for buyer to compensate seller, something like that, where it's in there what it is, and then just mail them a sticker, put it at 4 ounces, put free shipping, just put the amount of the item or whatever they had to pay for shipping before and do it. That's what I would do, I think. I thought, let's see. This is one of the worst things I absolutely hate to hear. Miss Linda said, eBay dropped me to below standard. Should I bother working the algorithm, but just keep going as I was doing? I started doing whatnot and other things. I just dropped my eBay by mistake. So it sounds like you were doing too much, and then your eBay wasn't getting taken care of, is what I'm reading that as. And then that dropped you to below standard.
Yeah, so all of their measurements are percentages, and you could look in your account and see what your percentage is at and how many things you need to sell to get back. They're really good about messaging you and saying, hey, this is what's your status is going to be next. So if you're not getting those emails, you want to make sure that you're getting messages from them when things sell. I mean, just a reminder so that you don't drop it again, but also to get yourself back up, it's going to be a percentage. So the more you do, the faster it's going to come back up.
Right. Yeah, what Erin said, I would list something that maybe you can get multiples of, that is a quick turnaround, quick seller. Even if you have to buy them at what you're going to sell them for, or take a little bit of a loss, something that is going to turn quickly, that you ship out on time, that's easy to ship. And then that will help, if you're having trouble shipping on time. It doesn't say why she dropped below standard. So I'm thinking maybe not shipping on time or something, but do that way you can maybe turn it around faster. Find something that go in there. You can go in any category and see what's selling fast and what's selling now. And if you can find those things that will turn fast, that can bring your account up faster.
The one time that I got a notice saying that my top rated seller thing was going to drop was because I accidentally somehow, I don't even know how to do it now. On eBay, I had put for pickup only, or pickup along with shipping, and that automatically I think I had a store too. So they don't want to have pickup along with this top tier thing, which I don't see why eBay does that. I would guess, I have no idea why, but that was the only reason. So maybe that might be it too. Maybe you have a pickup, you had that option on there, but it immediately I got that notice and it told me why. So I'm not sure if it's because what Kat was saying, you jumped over onto the other platforms and stopped feeding the beast. on the other end.
Yeah.
But sometimes all it takes is a few items to get back in there
Mhm.
to get it back up. So hopefully that's it, because it's a different story when it's like a late shipping or just, you know, broken items, returns and things like that.
Yeah, and it's hard again, like everybody said, we don't know the reason why, whether it was the slow shipping or canceling orders or what it was.
Mhm.
Um get one It's hard. That's a hard hole to dig out of. I agree though with Julie, like find popular stuff that's gonna sell fast and price it good, even if you have to pay up for that, if you want that eBay back, you know. So I would really sit down and look at what you want to do and whether or not you can juggle it. Like I'm famous for taking on way more than I can handle. I keep taking on more. And
Don't
you
we
know,
all?
sometimes you can't. Like I was talking with Rod. Rod and I are doing an ad for the same company. We both actually pushed it back because it has a lot of guidelines and things like that that I didn't realize, and it was due today. And I just didn't have the time to really read over the guidelines and be able to turn it in. So I pushed it back, which I don't like doing. And I would just say, really think about, because a lot of people have shut down their eBay to sell on Whatnot. Like if you're doing well on Whatnot, you're making enough money, then leave it, you know, leave it be. And I know some people who have just left their eBay not added to it because they're concentrating on Whatnot. But the main thing is you need to make sure that you are shipping what you sell. And if you're selling stuff on Whatnot, take it off of eBay, so that you're not making it worse. That would be the big thing, you know. Be able to keep up with what you have, or decide to shut it down, you know, if you just simply cannot do both. And it's hard. Like when I came back 6 years ago, I was doing eBay and Amazon, and those are both two beasts. They are big beasts. And I had to say, okay, I can either, you know, half do both of them, or I can let go of one. I ended up letting go of Amazon because I don't really like the newer stuff in retail arbitrage. I let Amazon go. I was doing a lot of books too, though. So I was doing books, but like Posh, Mercari, Etsy, Whatnot, those compared to eBay, I feel like are smaller for me for what I sell. You know, eBay is 85+% of our sales. So though, but if I had Amazon, that's like another eBay, and I just know I could not do them both well. I just simply do not have the time, or like I'm not as interested in Amazon. I'm not as interested in books and retail arbitrage. That's just not my thing. So I had to say, okay, I can do one or the other. If you're doing a lot of live selling, and I ran into this, my eBay suffered when I was hitting Whatnot hard. My eBay went like in the trash. But I was making enough on Whatnot where I didn't care. And then when Whatnot slowed down, I just picked back up on eBay. You know, we were still shipping. I never shut down my eBay, but I wasn't listing on there consistently. And it, you know, as with the listings coming back, it started picking up too. Let's see. Teacher Treasure Chest said, this is for Julie. I come across fabric at the bins all the time. What type of fabric should she be looking for to sell on eBay?
So I have to say I've never been to a bins. I know Drunk Susie's in here and she keeps telling me I need to go to the bins. It depends on what your audience is. Now, I have a lot of quilters that are in my shows. So I tend to buy a lot of cottons, and there are good brand, just like in anything, there are good brands of fabric, and there are Kmart brands of fabric and Macy's brands of fabric, I guess is kind of how to put it. You have to know what your audience is, and you want to buy good fabric that's not going to fall apart or bleed or something when they wash it the first time. And quilters are very particular about the fabrics that they use in their projects. The true quilters, they are diehard certain fabrics. They'll use Moda, and only that. They'll use Riley Blake and only that. So it depends on what your audience is. Now, I just bought a bunch of silks and chiffons, but I know that that's a different audience, and that's one that I will bundle up and put on eBay. I won't try to sell it on Whatnot. So I would say you need to learn your fabrics. Also, quilters and sewers do not want fabrics that's going to have a smell. So if you find something at the bins and it's maybe been in a smoker's house or someone that has pets, a lot of people are allergic to pets, allergic to cats, allergic to dogs. They don't want to make things out of that and then give it as a gift. So you have to be really careful with your fabrics. I would say if you're thinking about selling on one platform or the other, I would go in and watch people's shows and see what's selling. But if you're getting at the bins, make sure it's clean, make sure it doesn't have a smell, and look at the brand, the manufacturer. I don't know if I answered that, but there's a lot of information that you need.
Do you think just with like experience? Because like for me,
It's experience.
it's a lot of it's experience. Because like I've told people like I'm not, if stuff doesn't, and I'm not talking about necessarily fabric, but even clothes that don't have fabric tags, and they're like, what fabric is this? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I've been sewing since I was 7 years old. So,
like my mom, I might have to, like, I don't even want to think about my mom not being here, but my mom has rooms of fabric because she's
and that's usually what I buy out. Yeah.
But, like rooms.
You can always message me on one of the platforms, but it's really hard. It's really hard to know what your audience is going to be. But I would be very careful about buying it at the bins, just because.
For me, being not knowledgeable, because I haven't sewn, like I know my mom does it, I would say, like, just like with clothes, you can feel the quality of fabric. And what I look for a lot with fabric, because I'm not that knowledgeable, is the writing on the edge of the fabric that tells me if it's branded, if it's a pattern. And you can comp those too, is what I like. I can actually look up comps and see. And like, I know like fleece. I've found fleece several times, like at the thrift stores. But my big thing is the named ones. And I've sold some fabric for high prices, and I don't have that knowledge and don't know. So without it, you can tell quality. If you feel, you can, feel the quality. That's the same thing with sheets. I picked up like a bedding set. I just like felt it. And I was like, whoa, I didn't even know what it was, bought it. And it turns out it's a $500 comforter set. But it's just by feel.
Some Ralph Lauren stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I can. Marsha laughs at me. We went and I think it was mostly Ralph Lauren. Like I went through just touching. I was not looking at labels. I was like, oh, this is nice, pull it. And somebody had happened to just donate a bunch of Ralph Lauren. But I pulled, and like everyone I pulled was name brand, and it was higher dollar. And that's just like, but I'm a bedding snob. I got really nice, who was it? Oh, I think it's Tommy Bahama bedding. And I'm giving it to Trish from List Perfectly, because she lets me stay at her house in Kissimmee. And I was like, oh, this is cheap bedding. I'm like a bedding snob now. Like if I go to Airbnbs, like I like nice bedding because I can get nice bedding cheap at the thrift store. And so I'm like, hey, I picked up this really nice Tommy Bahama. Would you like it for your Orlando house? And she said yes. So I'm giving the Tommy Bahama to Trish. But towels too. Like once you start paying attention to fabric, I feel like you should at least have somewhat of a, head start to it.
I just bought a Ralph Lauren comforter, duvet cover, sheets, and pillow shams, etc., at an estate sale for $5 a package, and there were $300 and $400 each. You just got to. It's all practice. It's all just
But
learning
that's
your
something to
fabric.
think about too. You're not gonna. Do you want utility fabric? Do
Right.
you want
Yep.
upholstery? Do you want clothes?
Yeah.
Or are you looking
Some
for
upholstery,
sewing
like
fabric,
upholstery
quilting
stuff's
fabric?
high
Yes.
too.
Yes. And
And
I
like
will buy
indoor,
upholstery.
outdoor fabric.
Yeah.
And I will
Oh
buy
yeah,
that.
absolutely. Yeah, this umbrella stuff is
Mhm.
insane. But that's something to
Yeah.
consider when you're looking at fabric though. It's like, what is
Yep.
this going to be used for? You got to have some
Yeah,
idea by
and
the feel
I
of the
try and
fabric.
always get like a yard or more. I really like
Mhm.
2 yards or more because most people are using it for projects and things. Unless it's like the quilting squares. Like I just got some and I don't know how old they are. Like somebody had done the stars, like they're ready to go into a quilt. Those I'll buy
Mhm.
and those will sell too.
Yep.
And
Until
ones that
projects,
are
yeah.
unquilted. You can find
Yes.
unquilted tops for decent prices that somebody spent a ton of time on. And I love anybody that knows me, I love linen. And like I said, I've become, but I can tell just like I just got, I wonder if they're in here somewhere. Oh, I brought the lamp. I'm a squirrel, by the way, if you guys don't know that. I think this is a Lotes base that's probably worth about $700. It is, I forget the name of the glass, but it's copper overlay.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And so somebody drilled it and made it. Look at this though. Look at the finial.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
And I got
Wow.
2 of them. I think I had to pay like $400, but I really feel like this is like a $1,500 lamp. Like just something, this is an amazing,
Yeah.
like.
Finials is another thing to pick up, you guys.
Oh yeah, just these will sell.
Yes.
And for bed too.
Yes.
Oh, I should write that. That would be a good research video. I'm gonna make a note.
There you go.
Squirrel.
I am Erin, I think knows I'm 100% squirrel. I'm like bing, 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 bing. Like today I forgot to schedule the podcast till 4 p.m. And Erin's like, can I get the thumbnail? I was like, yeah, if I had made it, you could get it, but I haven't made it yet. And then I'm starting to record my videos and I'm like, I go into StreamYard and I'm like, I didn't schedule the podcast. It's not there. So then I had to I'm all over the place. All right, but I function better all over the place than if I don't have enough going on. Therese said 1 or 2 times a week I get a search from eBay of a single item. Why do I only see a single item in the search? Since in theory, not in theory, I listed 0 today. I'll tell myself today's been a bad day. That's really weird because I've been averaging, I would say 30 to 50 a day the last over a month. So I don't know if maybe like in your search you put like more parameters. So maybe it's like a certain category or something and I'm just not listing in that category. But you can go like to my store and sort by newly listed and it'll show you all of the newly listed items. Because I was 600 behind my employee, and now I think she got it up to 200. I was down under 100, and I was like, "Yay!" But I'm like, "Yay!" And then I'm like, "You better catch up," because I'm worrying I'm gonna like overtake her. But yeah, so following the store and going and just sorting from newly listed would probably be the best find. And I think we kind of talked about this. But like Juli, if it's not on it and they don't know it, what would you suggest?
So if there's not the salvage, if there's not rating in the salvage, I figure that's what they're asking about. It's either one of 2 things. It's either a vintage fabric because they did not always used to put that on fabric years and years ago. They did not put information. And so some of them don't, or it's a fabric that came from maybe like Hobby Lobby or something like that. It's not a fabric that is a higher quality fabric. But most of the time, the older fabrics do not have writing on the salvage. And
So
you
I
can
go by patterns on the older.
Pardon? But
if it's a print, you can do Google Lens.
yes, you can Google Lens if it's a print. Sometimes it'll come up. But yeah, try Google Google Lens. Now, thought about this, wants to look for, Alexander Henry is no longer doing a lot of their prints. They are not in a lot of stores. They are going in a different direction. So if you find Alexander Henry, buy everything that they have. Because they're not.
Yeah, and they're like, there's some I think I did a research video on fabric, just fabric. If I'll see if I can find it, or I don't know if Marsha can find it. But I was looking, I don't know where they went. I got 4 tablecloths I picked up yesterday that are all worth over $150 each. And I found if you watch me long enough, you see me sell like the state handkerchiefs with the map. I found tablecloths with state maps, and they're over, I found California, Florida, they're over $150 a tablecloth. And they're rare. So that should be like, they should sell fast. Cheryl is asking how old fabric has to be vintage. I would think it's the same, like the 20 years. Yeah. What'd you bring us, Erin?
Okay. Can you tell the difference between these two fabrics?
Yeah, one's satin, one's not.
But they're probably the same content. They're probably both polyester, but what you're like, this is like twice as thick as this one. This is a lining, and this is an outer fabric for a jacket or a shirt or whatever. Yeah. But like, you'll just learn by when you go along. Like, you can't always just look at it. You can't say, hey, look at this, what is it? You have to look at the weave. Like, we've got, where's my lens? Here we go. A little bit of texture here. We've got, this is like perfectly flat. So it's like, there's a lot to it. You can't just, like, I
there is.
go lens either one of these and figure out a maker, and there's no maker on any of these.
Because it's solid.
I mean, they're garment fabric.
Yeah. A lot of garment fabric does not have manufacturers. No, garment fabric does not have manufacturers on it. Yeah. So you have to learn. I see there's a whole bunch of fabric questions in the chat. Sorry, guys.
I mean, you can. It's I've been sewing since I was 13. So
yes. Singapore. Oh, yes, I have.
Okay, yeah. So I don't think I have. Becky's asking if any of us have had experience sending a package to Singapore. So it's coming back, return to sender. Without tracking. Do you think it'll get returned to her? I would ask, if you're still in the chat, Becky, did you use eBay's international shipping program? And if so, no, it's not going to come back, but you're going to keep your money. I don't know with pirate ship or anything like that. That might come back, but if you used any, like Etsy has the same international shipping program, and I don't think those come back either.
No, you don't get them back. I've had that happen before, but I send stuff to Singapore because I have family that's living there right now. But it sounds, why is it coming back? I have it come back, return to send without them tracking. I don't know why it's coming back is the problem. Was there something wrong with it? If they say that it was damaged, it's just going to go back to eBay distribution where we send it. That's where, as far as it's going to go. It's not going to come back to you.
Yeah. So hopefully she can follow up. Miss Linda wants to know, she has a roll of fabric that looks like real leather. Would it be better to sell it by the yard or by the roll? How would you do it if you came across that?
Well, it depends. Do you have 100 yards or do you have 3 yards?
There's
a big difference there. So, you're going to base it off. Do you want to take time to measure it out and cut it before you send it? Do you want to sell it by the yard, or do you just want to sell the roll? So depending on how much is there, are you likely to sell the whole roll? Do you just want to cut it in half? Like, you just have to ask yourself, how are you willing to distribute it?
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, I haven't bought any. I sold 6 yards of fleece. It was heavy. I took it off the roll, and I did put on there.
Yeah, fleece.
That I was taking it off the roll, and we shoved it in a big poly bag, and it did. It sold, and it was probably Walmart fleece, but it was really cute owls, and it sold decently fast. And I got 5 yards of it cheap.
Oh, it's
Um,
30 yards. She just put in the chat. 30 yard. Oh,
if I had
Oh, it's
that, I would
upholstery
probably cut it
fabric.
in halves.
it's a
I would cut it in halves like 4 or 5 times and do like 4 or 5 yards is what I would.
because that's going to be expensive to ship. If it's upholstery
It's gonna be
fabric,
heavy.
it's going to be very
Yeah.
heavy.
Yeah, for sure. I'm the boss of me. I'm the boss of me too. Has anyone heard that Poshmark is bringing bulk sharing back? I know List Perfectly put out like a big woo about it. But so yeah, if you guys don't know, bulk sharing is coming back on Poshmark. I have auto share set up, so I don't ever pay attention. I did notice though when I was going into some of my listing, it's like you haven't shared it in 15 days, and I'm like, what? So maybe that's why. I bet that's why. But whatever. I'm not sharing it myself. It either gets shared or it doesn't, but it's not gonna by me. Kylie said for media mail, I do calculated shipping. The customer pays, but for some reason it's charging like 25 cents over what I end up paying. What am I missing?
You earned a quarter. It's okay. I don't know. I don't do media mail, but I mean, there are times that I'm guesstimating on my shipping because I haven't actually packaged it yet. So I'm just kind of, putting my best estimate in there. So maybe you're just overestimating. I don't know how media mail is calculated, but it's okay.
Yeah. If you're printing on eBay, you should have an overage on everything. You're doing calculated shipping if you're not passing on the discount.
Media mail, even on calculated on eBay, will give you an exact number.
Yeah.
But do you get a discount on media mail?
No.
Oh, okay. So that would explain it. Yeah, keep your quarter.
But I don't know what platform she's on. She just says media mail, and I don't know if it's eBay or.
I assumed eBay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it should just charge you. You don't make anything on media mail. There's no difference using it on eBay. So.
Yeah.
But I know Katie Reed said that Ground Advantage was cheaper than media mail a lot.
Sometimes
now.
it is, depending on
Ryan's
where
talked
you're
about that
sending
too.
it. Yes. Sometimes it is.
LJ said, I list a few items every day on eBay, but have noticed when I search on eBay for that item, it does not show up anywhere, even though it indicates it's listed. Does anybody have anything on that?
I mean, it's not always going to be like immediate within seconds, but I mean, I would expect to be able to see it the same day, make sure it's in your store, make sure it's in your inventory, make sure it's not a private listing, just check your settings. But I guess other than that, just give it a minute. It's a busy time of year.
Yeah, I think there's so many people listing. I've noticed that with mine. If I refresh, it's not there. But if I wait 5 minutes, it shows up.
Yeah, and sometimes you log out and log back in, but
yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes your computer search is different than your, say, smartphone search. I've had that before where I just want to see, like, did I list that? And I'm not by my computer. I look on my phone and I was like, oh, I didn't list it. So I come back upstairs to the item and I see this, like, I see it on the computer, but not on my phone or vice versa. Technology.
Yeah, and it's frustrating because I'll look, like if I get an offer on Posh and Mercari, because sometimes the stuff doesn't get delisted. So before I accept an offer, I look on eBay to see if it's listed, because that's kind of like my main home base for inventory. And a lot, like Sonny was saying, a lot of times it won't show on my own. Like I'm searching my own inventory on my phone and it doesn't show. So I've learned I have to go look on the computer. I don't, it's weird. Yeah. It's like, I don't even know.
Yeah, the phone is a little bit behind.
Yeah, but say you don't see it either or on either or, message eBay. You're gonna have to get with eBay, ask for help, and then it might ask you what item or just in general questions. Once you get a hold of them, they could either call you back or chat with you, a live chat.
And LJ, if you're looking like for the whole title, I would like lower down what you're searching for and see if you can get it to come up then. Does anybody on the panel, is anybody using Nifty for cross listing?
No, I use LP.
So maybe somebody in the chat can help with LP and Depop. All I had to do was sign in. There was no magic link or anything. So maybe if somebody in the chat's using Nifty, but none of us are, like I said, LP, I just sign in and my Depop was connected. Fun Junk Stuff says, first time a USPS package is in limbo for me. The USPS clerk scanned the package and that is the last entry on tracking. It's been 8 days. Just curious as to like how or why a package gets lost.
First of all, fantastic choice of spelling on your name. Love it. Listen, the junk's got to be fancy, right? If we're going to sell it. But I have had packages just sit sometimes, and I'll call because I know the people at my post office now. I'm like, hey, this isn't moving. And they will look in their system and they can tell me where it's at and it's actually moving. And then by the time it gets delivered, I get like 10 notices of all the places that it's been. But if you're concerned, don't wait. Call. You can track it on the USPS website. You can fill out a form. There's like 2 different levels of forms. And if you go to fill one out and you haven't done the other, they'll say, hey, go do this other one first. And it just takes a minute. And basically you're putting your address in, buyer's address, your tracking number, and they're going to do whatever it is they do to ping that item. A lot of times the day you ask, you'll get an update. It'll start tracking all of a sudden for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know how. It just, it's magic.
Yeah.
There's some magic going on there.
I've noticed that if I go in and put the tracking number in, if I go to the USPS website and I put the tracking number in that I am looking for, all of a sudden within a couple hours, it magically updates and the information is there. I think it's just stuck somewhere. And that's happened quite a bit, especially this time of year. I have so far, I'm going to knock on wood, so far I've never had anything lost. Now I had somebody send me something that got lost in the mail and she just got it back and it was about 6 months ago. So, but
Wow.
It went back to her somehow. And, but so far I've never had anything, really get lost. If I put the tracking number in, it seems to trigger something that updates it. And then you can see where it is.
Yeah. It could be a variety of things. What I've experienced on some is that different temperatures cause the labels to disappear or become ruined and unreadable. And it may not be because of weather like heat. It could also be because of somebody else's package that had liquid and spilled and ruined it, which is why I emphasize on many of times is having the manifest or receipt on the inside that you could sometimes have. And many people don't do that because of paper or printing and all this stuff. And that helps out because I've experienced this also working at the post office where several packages ruin because of one another, causing a snowball effect. And you have like dozens of packages that are ruined and you don't know what goes with what because it's just an item that's rolling around or laying down to a package that's been busted open. So if you have a very valuable item, I would say even more pricier ones, you want to have some type of information with it. So just in case. That way it just makes it easier if something happens.
So I want to show this. I got this. I'm trying to cover up my name and address. I got this from somebody that I bought and the label is it just arrived today. This label was barely hanging on, but I think they used old labels and it came from, thank goodness it was in California, because I think if it would have, and I'm in California, if it would have gone any further, that label would have not been there because it is just there. So sometimes that can happen too, but there's hardly any sticky stuff. So I think they were old labels that they were using to print. So make sure when you are sending your stuff that you have good sticky labels and you're not using old stuff because that could have been gone.
A couple months ago, I guess Atlanta opened up a new depot there and it was just backlogging big time. And stuff that normally would have get routed there got routed all the way out and around of there because they couldn't take any more in. And I'm assuming at some point that's gonna like unjam, but whether it has by now or not, I don't know. So that was a big topic of discussion for quite a few months after that opened.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing everybody else did. I find if I put in, I want text updates about a tracking number, it magically appears. So that's my go-to for everything. And I've had it happen a couple times. Sometimes it does get lost. I've actually had 2 in the last month that USPS has cut me a check for that were lost. And it's funny. Erin, where was it? I swear I told Erin about it. Oh, I think it was a Whatnot package, and I hadn't bought from Whatnot in like over a year.
Bounced all over.
No, it came to me a year and a half later.
Whoa.
And I'm like, what the heck is this jewelry? It was, and what made me think is it was First Class, and First Class had been gone forever, and the label was a First Class label. And I'm like, so yeah, it took like a year and a half, and then eventually maybe it got stuck in somebody's machine. I don't know. We did that one. Okay. Last question, and we got through all the questions, which is amazing. Constance is saying, why does somebody keep something in their cart if they're not going to buy it?
Well, for a couple of reasons, I would assume, because I do this. One is to market in case I want to buy it later. Maybe the funding isn't available. You know, some websites don't give you the option to follow things like what we have on eBay, which is really nice. Just to, you know, for comparisons, if that's something that they want to compare other items to constantly, they'll just put it in their cart so they know where it's at. It's easy, it's safe. They can get to it quickly. So, I mean, really a variety of reasons, but most often for information. But yeah, that's my best guess. That's what I would do. That's what I do. I have done. I'm so sorry to irritate you.
Yeah. So yes, I have to say, I'm one of those people that does that because I have somebody's birthday coming up, or I have, so I'm looking for things that they might like. And so I will put it in my cart to hold it there. And when it gets closer, then I'll decide between this or this. I do the same thing on Amazon just before Prime and Cyber Monday, because when you've got a lot of grandkids, you put different things in to see what's going to be, you know, I don't think it's to irritate anybody. I think it's more to remind us what we've looked at so that we don't have to search it again. So, you know, I think a lot of people, I don't even pay attention to that. If somebody's got it in their cart, it still shows up. It still shows up when somebody searches for your items. It doesn't keep anyone else from buying it.
That's a good thing too, though. So there are times that I will click on an item and it'll tell me this item is in 3 other people's carts.
And I'll buy it if I think somebody else's.
So it can be a good thing for sure.
Good thing is it shows people are interested in it. That's for sure. I will say for me recently, like being at the hospital and having to get up carrying some crazy beepings because of my son's machines and everything. He's like a little cyborg baby right now, connected to everything. So when things beep, especially certain beeps, I'm not going to stay on my phone and purchase an item. I'm going to jump to whatever, you know, that needs. So what I'm getting to is that is like some things happen in life and it's just squirrel, you know, it may not be as extreme and they forget, but at the same time, it's their way of saying, like Erin said, a reminder, like, oh, I had this, I was looking at it. And when they're able to remember about it, that they'll pick it up. On eBay, what I like to do, a little hip and tidbit for it is like, I like to heart a lot of things and look at it for a second if I'm really interested in it for a better discount than what they have, rather than just sending an offer, because I'm into it, like Erin said, but I'm not ready for it right now. And maybe because of funds or wanting a better deal. So, yeah.
Picasso Cat had a question to go along with this, and it says, why not just add it to a watch list?
Oh,
Some places don't have those.
Some places don't have watch lists.
Nope.
I like Amazon doesn't have watch lists. If you type that, then that makes us say it. I will go randomly and go shopping, not shopping. and fill up my cart. And then I'm like, do I really need this? No. And I just close it out and I never take stuff out of my cart until I go to buy stuff again. And I'm like, oh yeah, I still have this in my cart. Now, I have to be careful because multiple people use my Amazon. Like I'll go to check out of a cart and like Brooke threw 3 things in the cart. And if I don't pay attention, I'm just like pay now. But that's like retail therapy that I don't buy. Like I'll like go through and add all kinds of stuff. And then I'm like, nah, and I'll not do it. I saw some of the comments like, yeah, I mean, some sellers might throw it in their cart. Like for me, I don't even pay attention to how many people have it in their cart. Like
I never,
because I feel like people. Now, here's the other thing. If you have smart buyers, which I would like to say that I am a smart buyer, as long as I'm not like, I have to have it now, I will go put stuff on eBay on my watch list because I know I send out offers, like OCD send out offers. So I will go and put it on my watch list and I wait like a couple of days to see if they will send me an offer. Now, I will also tell you that those that send me 5% offers, I automatically decline. I'm like, nope, that's not going to convince me to buy it. But I will tell you ones that I was on the fence about buying, good offers have made me buy it. Like they send me 20, 25% more. And I'm like, okay, like I just bought, and I don't even carry a purse. I'm crazy. I just bought 2 Dooney and Burke purses for myself when I don't carry purses. I'm going to try and carry a purse because I keep forgetting my wallet. And I'm like, well, maybe if I had to have a purse, I wouldn't keep leaving my wallet because we use 2 different vehicles and I'll bring it, I'll put it in the vehicle and then we'll end up in the other vehicle. And I'm like, where's my wallet? And I don't have it. So we'll see if I'm successful in using purse. Probably not, but I'm going to try. If not, they'll resell good. I got a Tampa Bay Rays and a Florida Gators Dooney and Burke purse. But we'll see. All right. It is 10:01. I'm going to let these ladies tell you goodbye, tell you what they have coming up. Oh yeah, I do that too. Like, so the Etsy, that's the other thing. I send out automatic 20% off offers if people leave it in their cart. And I get a lot of sales that way. So they're savvy shoppers on Etsy too that know that these offers go out if they put it in their cart and they don't buy it and then they get it. So yeah, they're smart and I don't blame them. I would do the same thing, right? Like I'm doing it to see if you're going to give me a discount before, if I need it right then or think I need it right then, I will buy it. But if not, I'm going to put it on watch or put it in a cart and I'm going to wait. All right. Here is Miss Erin to tell you goodbye and where you can find her. And then we will hear from Miss Juli and then Sonny and I will tell you as well. So here is Erin.
I'm going to bring up fabric one more time because this is such an oddball, but it's something to keep in mind if you're looking for fabric. So this actually has the brand name.
Yep.
And this is from a manufacturer. Somebody got a hold of extra fabric from a manufacturer and didn't use it. And I looked up this brand and they make women's suits in custom suits. So things like that you can look up really quickly that have names on them are good pickups if they cop out well. Thank you for having me again. I always enjoy being here. New Year's Eve has always been the highlight, the best one ever. I won't be available for that one again this year and I'm really sad about that. But
it's not on a Tuesday.
It's not. It's
It's not on a Tuesday. It's so good to see Juli. Her and I have seen each other off and on knickknacks, and it's great to be here with her today too. She's always just an eternal professional person to work with. So it is great to have her as a comrade in this reselling space. But I am mainly on knickknacks and eBay. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram regularly, and I do pop in the chat here from time to time too. So thank you for having me.
Perfect. Here is Miss Juli.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much, Kat and Sonny. This was so much fun. I have been watching Kat since Julian's very first, I don't know when that was. 5 years ago,
Wow.
6 years ago. Yeah, I watched his very first show, and that is when I started watching Kat. But I've had a lot of fun. I am Fabric and Treasures on all platforms, on Instagram, on Facebook. And if you guys have questions about your fabric, go ahead and message me on either Instagram or on Facebook, and I'll do my best to help you out with that. I know that there's a lot to learn with that, and I have had so much fun. I'm taking the next couple of weeks off from live selling. I only have, I think, 2 more shows and spending time with family. But thank you guys so much. Happy to come on anytime, Kat, you need to fill in. It's been fun.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, Sonny, what's going on?
I got a Whatnot show at 7:15 my time.
Oh my God.
And
Go in 10 minutes, guys. 10 minutes from now.
Yes.
in 10 minutes, Sunny in Las Vegas. I'm just trying to do as much as I can. I'm really motivated right now to do even much more than what I was ever doing. And by not thinking about, oh, I got to do this and I got to do this, I just think I'm going to do this and that's it. I don't think of excuses. And it's been making a world of a difference. And if I'm tired, I'm like, I'm glad I'm tired because I'm doing something. I'm glad I'm tired because I'm having something to show for once I'm done. Big or small, however things go with reselling, it's like if I sell something for $2, it's $2 I didn't have. But there's like 60 other items that I sold for more or just as much. So I'm just trying to be as positive as always as possible, just on a newer, higher standard that keeps me motivated. Yeah.
So next week should be fun. We are going to have Wolfman's Goodies Chad on, and we are also going to have Jake back on, J Ride Flips. So next week will be a fun show. I scheduled a Thursday morning. It'll be really early for you West Coasters, 11:30 Eastern. So it'll be at 8:30 in the morning. And I got some really, really nice estate costume jewelry, and I'm going to do 3 for $10 because I got so much. I need to sell them 3 at a time. So I'm going to try that. I don't know if you guys will like it. Just see how it goes. And if it doesn't go, then I'll switch back to singles at $3. But I'm hoping, because it's nicer stuff, I have a lot of made in Japan vintage pieces, necklaces. And yeah, so I scheduled that for Thursday. I'm going to schedule another ornament show. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram. If you don't, I'm going to really try to put out those previews. I'll try and put out one for the jewelry as well. But I have probably, I would say 50 to 100 pounds of jewelry I need to sell. So again, I have put myself on restriction. Hopefully I can keep it. I really appreciate Erin coming on again, and Juli for coming on. We definitely will have to have her back on. Sonny for coming every week and showing up. I appreciate it. And you guys in the chat too. We cannot do this without you. Yeah. We appreciate you so much. It's a great way to contact, and I see like you guys have your own little conversations going on in there. Yeah. A lot of people have met through this chat over the years. And yeah, which is really, really cool. So we will see you guys next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Jingle bells ringing in my ear. Jingle bell, a sound that's oh so dear. Frosty the snowman is all around town. Watch out for reindeers are falling down. We stay